Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. Obviously, I'm not Jared Polin from FroKnowsPhoto.com. I'm Lance here at Patience and Hustle Daily. Hope that was a really good impression. I thought it was a pretty good impression. What did you think? Let me know down below in the comments if you thought that was an okay impression of Jared Polin's introduction, because today I'm going to be talking about FroPack 2. FroPack 2 is a LightRoom preset that came out from Jared Polin's collection. FroPack 1 was awesome, and I got early access to FroPack 2. I guess quick note, not sponsored by him or his company or anything like that. I just really like this product, and we're going to dive in, and I want to show you what this product can do. But again, no affiliation or anything like that. It's really just a first look review at FroPack 2 and wanting to kind of show off some of the photos that I took that work really well with these presets. So let's go ahead and dive in. So we're going to kind of run through some of the settings here. So the first one is AC/DC, which really is vibrant in color. Looks good. Apollo. The Bob Ross one's really nice. Very vibrant colors. Burnt sienna. Caribbean creamsicle. Very unique names, Jared. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is very nice. It looks good with a lot of photos that I've tested this on. And let me move this over here. So these are two versions of the high contrast. Kind of like this one with this photo. Yeah, I like that. Golden grams. Gritty is nice. Low contrast, gritty with grain. That looks really good. I feel like I missed something. Oh, Double Stuffed Oreos is a black and white preset. If you had FroPack 1, let me show you FroPack 1 real quick. The Kensington preset is amazing. I mean, look at this. I don't necessarily want to add grain into the image, but it's just got a really nice vintage look to it. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about FroPack 2, and the Double Stuffed Oreos preset is very nice. Very nice. I love black and white photos, so I'm going to be using that one definitely on this picture. But let's take a look at these other ones here. I think the matte black with high contrast also looks really good. The colors and stuff have a very vintage feel, other than the fact that there's trash cans in here. I don't really like that in the picture, but you know, sometimes you can't get them. I mean, that looks nice. It kind of hides the trash cans. So this is Snow White, very, very high in contrast. For this image, I really like the Double Stuffed Oreos. I'm thinking without the vignette. No, I like the vignette, yeah. So the one thing with presets is don't just click the preset and then leave it. You would want to go through and actually adjust things and make it more your own. So that way you can really develop the image and make it unique, make it something more personal. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to look at some photos and how these presets affect those photos. So the next one here is this West Virginia University building. I like how the AC/DC filter really kind of makes everything pop on this. The Apollo filter, that's what I was talking about with the color on the Apollo filter. You'll have to kind of go in and then tweak this a little bit more because of the color that comes out of it. But it looks good. See, this looks nice. Very, very vintage feel. I like what it does to the stone. See, this is without and this is with. This is the Charlie Brown setting. let's keep going. Let's see. I kind of feel like this one probably needs to be in black and white. Yeah. Yeah, that looks so good. Let's see if there's any other ones that would work really. Gritty works really well too. Double stuffed Oreos definitely has more contrast, but then the gritty one, it has a little bit of color in there. Yeah. With grain actually looks really good, bringing out those little details. Okay. If I were to edit this one would have to be either double stuffed Oreos or gritty with grain. I think both of those look really good. I'm gonna have to go with double stuffed Oreos on this one again. And then, like I said, I'd go through and kind of edit this and make it my own. But let's keep going. So this was the inside of a hotel. The ACDC one is really contrasty and really bringing out some good detail. Obviously, you would have to do with the Apollo one, because of the color grading that it's already has built into it, you're going to have to go in and do color correction on your image again. But let's keep going here. This one's pretty nice. This Charmin, Charmin, who am I? So the Charmin one's nice because it seems to be very just neutral, just kind of a very easy color correction. I mean, it looks good. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is another good one. I really like this one with high contrast. That really brings out the detail in the carpet and what it did to the background there. I just really like a lot of these images in black and white, and Double Stuffed Oreos is just so good. I love Kensington preset in Fro Pack 1, but the Double Stuffed Oreo one looks really good with a lot of these photos. So, yeah, I mean, Double Stuffed Oreos is good. There's not a lot of like interesting things going on in this picture to really bring out any color detail. It's really just very texture. Has a lot of textures here, and that is not even at all. That's a little better. Okay. But yeah, there's just some good textures here. I would probably bring up the exposure just a little bit. But I mean, overall, that looks really good. I mean, I like the contrast. I mean, I had to shoot at ISO 800, and to get all those details, I used 5.6 handheld 1/30th of a second. So that's not bad. This next one's one of my favorite. It was shot from inside of a car. So we had stopped at this stoplight. I looked down the street and I was like, I gotta take this picture real quick. And so the light had just turned green and I snapped the photo handheld, f3.5 at 1/20th of a second. I was using ISO 200 because I actually had an ND filter on my camera. I was using a Sony 24mm 1.4 G Master lens, and I was doing video, but since the ND filter was cutting a stop of light, I just added a stop of light back in by bumping it to ISO 200, which doesn't add in really any grain whatsoever. It just gives me that extra stop of light back. And so handheld at 1/20th of a second got a lot of detail. I wanted to get all of these buildings you know, tack sharp all the way down. So let's run through and see which one of these looks best. This is really good because it really makes that sky pop. Ooh. See, this is where the Apollo one comes in. I would do a little bit of color correction here, and there's something that was on the glass inside of the car, but that really makes that sky pop out really well. And then Apollo with no white balance looks really good. The sky still pops. There's a lot of detail in this building. Just those textures looked really cool. Okay, let's keep going here. Ooh. So burnt sienna looks really good with this one as well. It didn't work, that preset didn't really work with these other images, but it works really well with this one. Just because it kind of gives it some contrast and makes everything kind of punch a little bit. Again, double stuffed Oreos is looking really good. I'm just kind of biased on black and white photos. I just really love black and white photography. So that's probably why I like that one. So with this one, if I had to pick, I would either go with Apollo with no white balance settings added in with that, and then making adjustments myself, or double stuffed Oreos. I would probably go with either one of those. I'm thinking double stuffed Oreos again. Yeah. I mean, I think that looks incredible. Again, I'm biased on black and white photos, but I think that looks good. Let's go to the next image. Got just a couple more. So let's see. This one, I was shooting with my 16-35 f4 Sony lens, Zeiss, and f5.6 at 1/160th of a second. So this one's where you can really see this AC/DC one and what it does. It just really makes the colors just pop. Apollo looks nice on this too. So I feel like the Apollo setting works really well for outdoors because it's already kind of got that like blue color temperature in it. So by default, let's see what it, yeah, so by default, it changes the color temperature to 4250. And so, I mean, that's just really nice for outdoors. And the contrast looks good. Yeah. Yeah, so with this one, I would go with Apollo. So this is before, and this is after. So maybe bring a little bit of the highlights back. Maybe give a little bit more detail in the shadows. Yeah, I mean, that looks good. Some tweaks on that, and then it'd be perfect. All right, so this is another one with my 16-35 f4. I shot this at f8, 1/10 of a second, handheld, which turned out really well because there's like no shake, no distortion there. I really just wanted to get the water nice and smooth, so I wanted to use a slower shutter speed. Yeah, I think an AC/DC one for this one is really good because it just gives just enough pop to start out, and then going in and then just making tweaks and adjustments to it. And this one was also, this one was with my 24mm f1.4 Sony lens. Again, the AC/DC one just really makes everything just pop out, which is great for this. I'm just gonna scroll through and see what I like. And so this is kind of what I do when I'm like actually sitting down and editing. I'll scroll through presets to see if any of them work, and if they don't, then I just don't use a preset and I just edit it myself, totally without a preset on there. But I always use a preset as a starting point only, never as just it, like just using the preset and then moving on. I actually like Harvest Moon Vibrant, and I like what AC/DC does to the sky, but I really like the Harvest Moon one. Like this looks over processed, which I could bring some of the settings back, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, that looks really good. So, perfect. Alright. So let's see what we can get with this one. So, these little spots, I know for a fact these were just some weird bugs flying around. Easily removed. I was using a polarizing filter with the last two images. That's why that sky is just popping so much and those clouds look so good. I use a Polar Pro circular polarizer, and it's probably the best polarizer I've ever used. So if you don't know who Polar Pro are, go to polarpro.com. Not sponsored by them unless they one day want to sponsor me, that would be awesome. But it's just a really good product. You need to check it out. So with this one, AC/DC looks really good as well, making all those colors pop out. Let's see. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch one almost kind of makes this look like this is from some post-apocalyptic movie. Yeah, that's way too moody. But the sky looks incredible with double stuffed Oreos, no vignette. I think really on this one as well, AC/DC, and then I would probably bring the vibrance back on that because the grass is just way too bright on that. But that really brings out a lot of good detail. I think just a few other tweaks on that, cleaning up these little spots where these bugs were flying around, and it would look pretty good. This last one was shot with the 16-35 f4. It was at 5.6 handheld, 1/13 of a second. It was really cold this day, so I was shaking already, and I was just like, I want to get this photo because I thought it looked really cool. So it's got a little bit of motion blur, as you can see. It's not tack sharp, but I still like this one. And AC/DC filter really brings out a lot of the details there. Double stuffed Oreos looks really good on the wood paneling. Those textures look really good, so keep that in mind. Yeah, So maybe doing this one in black and white would be a good idea for this one. I think just having to make some tweaks, bringing the I just don't really like how this guy and that tree, that just looks, I just don't like the way that looks. I love the way that the wood paneling looks with the black and white. So let's go. But yeah, the AC/DC one is a good go-to as well because of just how it makes the colors just pop out so well, especially with, you know, the leaves changing, and it was a really cold day, so there's some overcast. I think that one would look just fine. There we go. I just wanted to show you a quick review of Fro Pack 2. I really like it. My favorite has got to be the double stuffed Oreos, and AC/DC are both so good. But as you saw, there's a couple pictures where, you know, some other settings seem to look really good as well. What I'd like to know is, one, do you have Fro Pack 1? If not, you need to go to Jared Poland's website, FroKnowsPhotos.com, and I'll have a link below as well for you, Jared, helping you out there, buddy. And Fro Pack 2 had just launched, so you'll want to pick that one up as well. I think he's doing some kind of a bundle right now. It's the 16th of November, 2019, so that's probably going to be different when you watch this later on. But I really enjoy this preset. Thanks so much, Jared, for making this and getting me early access to it so I can play around with it. That was really awesome as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on it. And if you want to see some more videos like this, or if you have any suggestions of videos you want to see, let me know as well. And if you enjoy the content that you see on my page, go ahead and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. I want to make sure that you get alerted when I drop more content. But again, thank you so much for tuning in, and have an awesome week.